give you the official handshake on film here. Hey everybody, this is my friend Chris, and he's my neighbor here, and we're just swapping technology on how about growing vegetables, and Chris here makes some beer. So. Well, Chris, you gave me a good explanation. I'll give you the shortened version of it here.
Sure.
What's that you got sitting there in the glass?
Sure. Well, this is actually an ale that I made about 4 weeks ago. This is a rye ale.
Okay.
I got some malted rye and I put it in with the mash. That's what this thing is here.
Okay.
And it produces a really wonderful little beer. In fact, we've got some beer for you.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
You film and drink at the same time?
Yeah, I can film and drink.
Oh, excellent. You're a true professional.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah,
that's phenomenal.
Simple.
Okay.
Basically, the process is I take some grains, usually basic Turo, which is the workhorse of most brewing industry, and some specialty grains. I soak them in some hot water, and what happens is that the water at that temperature converts all the starch into sugar. And then what I do is I start draining out that sugar water that I've got, and I start filling it with more water.
Okay, we'll just show them the
I'm actually draining out some sugar water here. I'm making stout, hence the really dark color. And what I'm going to do is I'll take this and I'll pour it into my kettle here, and this is basically a collection vessel. See, we got a whole bunch of liquid in there. We're slowly going to bring this to a boil, and at which point, when it's a nice rumbling boil, we'll add some hops. Those add some bitterness to the beer, and they add a bit of aromatics, and they also add some sort of life-preserving abilities. So they're very good for keeping the beer's life. They're very good preservative.
Okay. So you're ready to throw that one in and go through the process, right?
Yeah. So okay. Dump this in. Very simple. You can see the gorgeous color.
Yeah, it's looking a little lighter than it was.
Yeah. Well, it starts off very, very dark. And all we do is we just keep adding water here, and what that does is it washes out all the rest of the sugar and all the flavors and all the color out of that mash. And that's basically just some hot water we got there. So here's our mash tun. And I'm using a picnic cooler because picnic coolers have to be insulated, which is perfect for what we need. And it was also free.
Okay.
Also very important when you're making beer.
Well, your overhead is good here, eh?
Exactly.
Not much on rent on the sidewalk.
That's what we want. So all we do is, as this comes to a boil, like I said, we'll add in the hops, and we'll boil that for a solid hour.
Okay.
And after it's finished boiling, we have to chill it down really quickly, so we'll do that very simply. After it's chilled down, what we'll do is we'll just put it into some simple plastic buckets. We'll add in some yeast, and over the next week, that's going to the yeast will convert all the sugar that we collected, and we're going to turn that sugar into alcohol and CO2. So what you end up with is beer. Very nice thing to have.
That's phenomenal. It's funny that I met you out here today because I was just posting on my Facebook thing. I just did a documentary at the tent city and the housing crisis here and everything. So I have friends down in the States that are working with everybody's kitchen and whatnot. So it's really cool that you're doing this.
Yeah, it's my little bit of, I guess, act of thumbing my nose at the government and the sort of the industrial society, whereas the government takes a large amount of money out of the alcohol, and ultimately that comes out of your own pocket.
Yeah.
You're paying a lot of money for the alcohol, and the reason you're paying that much money is because the government realizes two things. First, you're willing to pay it, and second of all, they look at it as a sin. So you've got the religious half of the government that believes that you were being wrong and you were sinful by drinking. So by making it myself, I don't pay any of those taxes. When I actually purchase the grains to make the beer, I don't pay any taxes because it's considered a food item. So I pay no taxes there, no GST or PST. And when I actually make the alcohol, the beer, I don't give any money to the government,
Mm-hmm.
which is a very nice feeling.
Good.
Because I figure that they've taken enough money out of me, and I don't want to give them any more.
Yeah. I'm just going to get a shot of us doing a toast here.
Sure.
So yeah, this is my new friend Chris, my neighbor that I just met, and cheers! Thanks for the tutorial and the glass of fine beer. That's brilliant. Yeah, really smart setup you got here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit overcomplicated. I mean, you can. I've pushed the boundaries a bit, and just because I want a larger size of beer. The secret is if you can, when you're brewing beer, if you want to make 20 liters, you can make 20 liters. In the same amount of time, you can make 50 liters.
Right.
It's no big difference.
Yeah.
And the only difference is equipment. Now,
you don't have to stir that at all. There's no chance of burn at the bottom, or is there enough distribution?
well, I
with the
want that
aluminum?
burn actually. What that burn is that what's going to burn is the sugar on the bottom.
Okay.
And that's going to add some caramelization.
Right.
That caramelization is going to add some wonderful flavors, caramel flavors
Okay.
coming out in the beer. So I definitely want that burn. That's an added bonus, really.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is very simple. You can do this in your kitchen, and a lot of people do. It's very simple. I brew once a week. It takes maybe 6 hours, 7 hours out of my day, but it's about 45 minutes of hard labor, if that, and the rest of the day is spent around doing this, what is drinking,
Right.
and watching things do what they do.
Yeah, watching it cook.
So
Brilliant.
it's very simple, it's very peaceful, it's very pleasant, and at the end of the day, I get a lot of beer out of it.
Perfect. That's awesome, buddy. By a sudden storm, so we had to move in. So now we're underground, nice and secluded and safe here. So we're brewing out of the bad weather. So we're just and we just met on the street today. It was a really cool experience. Had a lot of fun with it. Okay, and Chris is opening us a beer here. He's got the nice glasses. That wind and rain came up on us pretty quick, eh?
It did, yeah. It's very typical, think of a sort of spring or summer storm. So, thankfully you were here, and we can hopefully rescue this batch of beer.
Yeah, had to mobilize the MASH unit.
Exactly. Well, when I first came up with the design of this beer, I was going to call it Terra Incognito, or Knowledge or Lands Unknown. I think the day was unknown here, so that's pretty much fitting for this beer.
It's like mobilized alcohol brewery.
Mobilized alcohol brewery, exactly.
Awesome. Cheers, Chris. Here.
Cheers.
Thanks, bro. It was an awesome day. So you got a bag there, and you just proudly said it's time for...
It is time for hops. I basically reached a boil. So at a boil, what happens is that sterilization happens.
Okay.
So we all know that boiling water basically sterilizes the water, and all I'm doing here is the same thing. I'm going to sterilize the liquid, the sugar liquid. Now I'm going to extend that sterilization, and I'm also going to do things like during that sterilization or during that boil, I'm going to boil it for an hour, and I'll extract out all the flavor of the hops, and that's all the bitterness, that resiny back of your tongue kind of sticking to the top of your mouth.
Okay.
It's wonderful, isn't it? And also some aromas.
Okay.
Also, it will basically combine all the flavors, just like if you're making a soup or anything like this.
Okay.
Again, if you're back in your kitchen, same concept. You're essentially getting all those flavors to combine.
Okay.
And that's what we're going to do. And those flavors are going to combine. So I'm going to see the hops. These are hop leaves.
Okay.
They are the closest cousin to